Showboating Sports, guys. It's your man Scott Free here. Hey, signing on live tonight. Running a little bit late. Sorry about that, but we're gonna pick right on up and get right on going about it. I'm gonna actually put the number up on the live tonight where people can call in and let people sound off on the subject matter. And so I'm gonna do that. And then I'm going to do, if you guys are not familiar with the channel, please make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Hit the bell notification icon. And I'll be going through, doing lives weeknights, Monday through Friday, around 10-ish. But tonight, where the subject matter is Blair Cobbs, Blair the Flair, calling out all kind of people, speaking out on Spence, Canelo, Ennis, and the whole boxing everybody's in boxing. So it's a pretty cool thing. But one of the things particular that most people kind of gravitated towards was him calling out Spence. What he said about Spence is that Spence was cursed, and he also said that Spence has had too many injuries and that he thinks he's going to lose this fight with Ugas. So I don't know what to say about that. I want to hear your thoughts, and I'll give you my opinion. But right now, I'm just putting up a few posts and making sure people are able to call in and sound off on it. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to put the number in right now. All right. And let people go ahead and sound off. So, like I said, we're trying to wait to see a few people roll up in here. But like I said, Blair had a whole lot to say. He was at a media event. He's getting ready for his fight. He's going to be fighting on the undercard of Ortiz. So he had a lot to say. And he also, we're going to talk a whole lot about it because I think what Blair Cobbs is doing, he's out there putting his name out there. He's always been one to make a splash, a big splash. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but it's just one of the biggest things is he better not lose this next fight. Because once you lose that fight, man, that's going to be a problem, man. You don't want to be out there talking all this trash like how most fighters do, and next thing you know, they lost. So you want to be careful with that, like Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez did all that trash talking. Oh, we got J-Lo, we got this, we got that, and all this other stuff. But then next thing you know, he goes in there and tries to cherry pick when really Teo didn't even have a mandatory at that time. Not at all. But guess what Teo did? Teo went in, tried to pick George Kambosos and said he had a mandatory because he had just fought in that November. So it takes about you have about a year to fight your mandatory. You know what I mean? But Teo didn't want to fight. Teo didn't want to fight Devin Haney or Lomachenko. So what did he do? He said, "Hey, I'll take this guy and take him as a mandatory and fight my mandatory." But guess, lo and behold, he lost to that mandatory. Now he's saying he couldn't make weight. He's going to have to go up in weight and fight at 140. We'll see how that turns out. But like I said, well, just put up my last one. I'm sharing to some different platforms and got some other people because I should have been doing this on Facebook and YouTube. But what it is that the Facebook group, I am in a few different Facebook groups. And like I said, I haven't been on here all the time because we've been going back and forth and arguing so much on Facebook that I'm like, look, man, I'm neglecting my YouTube channel. It's time to get on my YouTube channel and let this thing roll. But anyway, man, so we're going to get back to cooking this thing. Blair Cobbs, man, they told the backstory on Blair Cobbs, and man, it's kind of a crazy backstory, man. And it's one of those backstories that, that's kind of harsh. He kind of came from the slums, actually came up in Guadalajara with Canelo. He said Canelo fought under his undercard. He said that, he was the one that a lot of people talked about. And so, which is actually true, that back there in that time frame, Blair the Flair was a little bit ahead of Canelo. Somehow Canelo passed him up. But Blair the Flair went through a lot of tragic events. His dad got caught flying a plane with cocaine, crashed the plane, got out. He did survive. Then they tried to running from the CIA and that kind of stuff. And then Blair's mom died under some mysterious circumstances where she passed away in the middle of all this. So then Blair and his sisters, they had to move to New York. Then his aunts, as soon as they came of age, she kicked him out first and kicked his sister out. As soon as his dad stopped sending money and stuff back up that way. So Blair had to go, and he moved in with someone out in Las Vegas. And so in the meantime, he was trying to, box and fight his way out of poverty, which is a great story. And I think now Blair is he's a decent fighter. He has Freddie Roach as a coach now, and it's cool. I'm glad to see that Freddie Roach is behind him. Blair can fight. I don't think that Blair has a whole lot of skills where he's on any of the big elites level. I don't see that at all. I don't see him on Spence's level. I don't see him on Crawford's level, Jaron Ennis, any of those guys. He's a welterweight. Also, he was not too long ago doing some sparring with Devin Haney, which, it's pretty good thing that they that he reached out to Devin Haney. They go back and forth, but Devin Haney is a small fighter. He fights at 135, but the thing about Devin Haney is he's got a lot of skills, which is cool. And it'll help fighters like Blair Cobbs bring them along a little bit faster. They ain't got to worry about a fighter that's so much bigger than them that it kind of overwhelms them. They got enough time to kind of work on their skills and work on the do's and don'ts of boxing. And Blair Cobbs needs that. I mean, he's a good fighter. Like I said, he's working with Freddie Roach. He could be, like I said, he's a good fighter, and he works with Freddie Roach. So, but he still needs those skills because it's a lot of stuff that he missed out on over those years, moving from house to house and that kind of stuff. So you see some of that show up in his boxing. You see he's green a whole lot, but the thing about Blair is he's not scared, and that was something else that he brought out. He said that he doesn't like fighters who dodge and all kind of stuff. And there's so much stuff that we're going to unpack with this one right here. Is that I got people texting me on here, and I'm trying to tell them I'm on live and all this other stuff, and so they'll come on and go through it. So anyway, we're gonna keep right on cooking, man, and we're gonna keep right on cooking with this. And like I said, Blair is a guy that I'm gonna get this one last number out, and then we good, man. I got one more thing to do to let everybody know, and then we ready to rock and roll. So tell them to call in. All right, here we go. All right, that ends that. So, like I said, Blair, what he said about Spence made a whole lot of sense. He said that he said it made sense, but I can't say I agree with it. Let me just put that out there. It makes sense if you don't kind of understand if you're not a person, a fan that really knows what's going on about boxing. He said that Spence was a coward. He said that because he wasn't making that fight with Crawford, that he was scared. And he said Spence has a lot of skills, but he looks at Spence as being a coward, which is untrue, man. I mean, it was true that Spence didn't make the fight that they wanted, but it just wasn't on Spence. You have PBC, who's a promotional company for Spence. Spence also said on the Ellie setback video when him and Terrence Crawford got face to face, he was like, "Look, man, I'm gonna go clean up my side of the street. Once I get the belts from my street, I'm gonna fight Sean Porter. Then I will be over there to see you." And Bob Arum, with Top Rank, does not really. He doesn't make fights. He wasn't pushing Terrence Crawford too much. Terrence Crawford wasn't fighting anybody else from PBC that was a top welterweight. Because when the Sean Porter fight came out, Sean Porter was mandatory, and they ordered the fight. Well, when they ordered the fight, they had to send the fight the purse bid, and Bob Arum wasn't wanting to make the fight. And so PBC was like, "Man, you guys got that. Y'all handle all that stuff. It's a joint venture, but you guys are gonna handle the main thing of it. Our fighter is with PBC." And Bob Arum, like I said, he almost lost it. Then at the very last minute, he did what he had to do to make the fight. or else he was going to lose all the way out on the fight. And so because PBC wasn't going to go help Bob Arum make the fight because Terrence Crawford was the A side and it had been an ordered fight. So the WBO was going to make sure that fight went through. And so Terrence Crawford took that fight, and that just shows you how hard it is to make a fight with PBC with Top Rank, because Top Rank keeps pointing the finger in this, and if you notice Top Rank, they do a lot of in-house fighting. And when it comes to fighting on another network, if their boxer has all the belts, Top Rank doesn't really fight across the street, fight with another promotional company. Now, if another promotional company has their fighter has the belts, it seems like Top Rank will make that fight a whole lot faster. And that's what it appears to be, because like I said, if it's one, Loma didn't want to cross the street and make a fight. Teofimo Lopez didn't want to do it. Then you had Terrence Crawford. He didn't want Terrence Crawford fighting over there. But now he said he would have made that Spence fight because Spence holds mostly all the belts. You know what I mean? And now that Terrence Crawford's not with Bob Arum is wanting to make the fight with him and Josh Taylor and trying to make that one happen. So Bob is always about in-house, but now that Terrence Crawford is gone, that's a whole different story. And I think he's trying to show good faith that he's trying to work with Terrence Crawford because he's getting sued by Terrence Crawford, which brings me back to Blair Cobbs when he made that statement about Spence. It's not all on Spence. And now that Terrence Crawford is not with Top Rank, Erool Spence is like, man, look, I've been saying this since day one. When I get the belts, I just got to get past Ugas. I can't overlook Ugas, and then I will go towards Terrence Crawford, which is cool. He's been saying it for the longest. And so Blair the Flair was out at his workout, had the media around him. And so what do? He started going off on Spence. Oh, he had a wreck. Okay, it happens, you know. I mean, you know. Oh, he had a messed up retina, a torn retina. We don't know if that came from if that was a result of something going a little bit wrong from the car crash, or if it was really happening sparring. Now, Spence said that when he was sparring that he got hit, and next thing he knows, like, whoa, what was that? He said he started seeing his vision got blurry up. He started seeing like little clouds and stuff, you know, little blurred spots out there in his peripheral. And so the thing is that Spence had that, and it happened in boxing, but I don't know if the car wreck could have weakened it or whatever else, because it looked like it was on that same eye that his face hit that had the scars. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but I'm just saying that could have been a result of, that could have weakened it. I don't know. But Blair Cobbs is saying, oh, Spence is, he's cursed and he's going to lose this fight. And if he doesn't get hurt right before he goes in. And to me, I think that you're doing a publicity stunt, and that's what he's doing. And that publicity stunt can come back and bite you in the butt later. And the reason why I said to come back and bite you in the butt, because these are the guys you want in the face, right? And you're talking bad on them, and it just turns a lot of people off. If you're going to fight, if you're going to talk trash, keep it in the context of boxing. You know what I mean? Try to keep it over there. When you start talking about people are cursed, so I think it just takes it to a new level. And what happened that I saw is that Spence responded and was like, man, you guys are talking to the media. You guys are looking for a story anywhere. You guys are listening to a guy who's 30 years old and still a prospect. And so that was Spence's first response. His second response was, he said, man, I looked at your backstory and it's tragic, but you said that I'm cursed. Well, if I'm cursed, what do you call yourself? And you know, talking about his backstory, because Blair Cobbs has went through a lot of hell throughout his whole life. You know what I mean? He's got a hell of a story. So you can't sit there and say, oh, you're cursed because these bad things happen to you or things happen. Man, it rains on the just as well as the unjust. You can't go out here and start pointing fingers and say, man, this went wrong because you're cursed. I mean, you got to be careful what you speak on others, you know, because it can definitely come right back on you. You know, it can happen in a blink of an eye. And so Spence was out one night of fun and it happened. He corrected it. And now what is he doing? He's working out and keeping himself together and keeping on task. So, and Blair, you know, you look over your life, you think all the bad things happen to you. And what Spence said, you could be cursed. But all that stuff aside, I just think a lot of people had a lot of bad things growing up, and we all have, you know. Terrence Crawford used to gamble, used to fight. Somebody shot him in the back of the head. He survived. Urdanis Ugas came over and he rode a raft over, a small boat, and he made it. He went through a lot of stuff, almost was out of boxing. They got him out in Vegas, and he had a new rebirth, and he's been taking advantage of that. So you got so many fighters that have been through so much stuff that you can't sit there and point the finger and say, your life is bad, so you must be cursed, or because you're not accepting these boxing matches. Because if you say it about Spence, then that means you got to say it about just about most of the boxers out there. You know, what about Canelo? Canelo is dodging 3 people right about now. He's dodging a lot of fights and stuff. So are you going to say that Canelo has been holding up the division and something bad is going to happen to him and he's cursed? Why is it just got to be Spence? You got Canelo, you got Tio, Lomachenko, Kambosos. Are those guys cursed as well? I mean, if you're going to say this, don't stop at Spence. Keep right on going. Then you got to speak it to yourself as well. So I kind of agree with Spence on that. Another thing that Blair said is that another thing that we were saying earlier, that Canelo was up under his undercard, right? And but Canelo is doing better than him now. Canelo has had a lot more opportunities than Blair, and he has capitalized on them. You know, and I think that Blair really, man, to me, this is what nothing but a publicity stunt is really what it was. Blair the Flair, I'm not saying that he doesn't want to fight the top welterweights, but I'm saying anytime he gets a chance to make a big splash, that's what he does. And that's why he's saying it on Spence, man. You know, and that's why he's saying it on all these other fighters, you know. Oh, man, these guys this and this guy's that. It's just to raise his stock up, to bring attention. And sometimes that good attention can be bad attention as well. So now all the eyes are on him to see what he's going to do. Freddie Roach, like I said, is his trainer. And we're going to see exactly what Blair the Flair can do, because his time is coming up. And he's going to be right there, center stage with a magnifying glass over him. You know what I mean? So he's going to be right over it, right up under the magnifying glass. And we're going to be looking to go see what you do right and what you do wrong. We keep hearing you, woo, woo. Hey, man, that's got to translate into the boxing. You keep calling out Jaron Ennis, but you don't want Jaron Ennis, man. You don't want that. And all you got to do is just keep on doing what you're doing and keep on winning. You're going to have all that. So it doesn't take all of that, all that, extra stuff that Blair Cobbs is doing. So be careful, Blair. And I got my eye on you, and I definitely want to see how that turns out for you this weekend. I mean, on the fight. And like I said, there's so much stuff out there that's going on in boxing right now. Now I was watching. Matter of fact, Blue Blood was saying that he got a call from Devin Haney's father. And Devin Haney's father said that now Lou DiBella hit him up and said that they want to make the fight. So that's breaking news. You guys can go to Blue Blood Sports TV. That's where I heard it from. I check out other people's lives. I support fellow YouTubers. I listen to what they do and go out there. So that was something that I heard tonight. It was breaking news. So guys want to go hear more about that, you guys go to his channel. I'm sure he'll be putting a video up soon about that. So yeah, man. So I'd like to hear what you guys got to say down in the comment section. And tell me how you feel. What do you think about it? Is Spence cursed? Is Canelo blessed? Spence cursed? Is Blair the Flair, is he blessed? I mean, I don't know which way to take this. When you start down on fighters outside the ring activities and stuff, man. Like I said, you want to keep it within the playing field, man. I don't think you should go into out of bounds with that kind of stuff. But hey, who am I to say? That's straight up with no chaser, guys. And we're gonna be doing some more videos. Like I said, we got on kind of late tonight. Was kind of running behind and got these new programs out here. And like I said, we're gonna polish them out, get them right. I know at the beginning of my videos, I always start off kind of slow because I'm trying to get them in different Facebook groups, trying to get the right program out. But it's kind of hard when I'm in so many different Facebook groups that I'm in there arguing about boxing, and not arguing, debating. Most of the time I'm in there teaching, actually. And then I'm out here on YouTube on different stuff. And so I tend to put my live videos on YouTube, and I'm going to start streaming them over to Facebook. I know I can do 2 platforms at once, but I still won't be able to hit 2 or 3 different groups all through Facebook. So I will go live on YouTube, and I'll probably go live on Facebook, and then just do one one spot over on to one of the groups. But anyway, if you're one of my group members on there, don't feel free to like, subscribe, and share, man. And so until tomorrow night, I'll be back on tomorrow night around 10. That is East Coast time, New York, Georgia, Atlanta, Florida, all that stuff. We all on the same time zone, man, specific. And so till tomorrow night, peace, man.